Hi, I'm Azam Zijumika from the University of Yaoundé 1 in Cameroon. I'm going to present in this video our work entitled Link Open Literature Review using the Neuro-symbolic open research knowledge graph. This is a joint work with Zoran Auer and Alat Olen from TIB in Germany. This work received the artifact availability badge, and you can have access to several resources that are present here. Then, in fact, the way scientific papers are published today resemble to static web pages. We call it Review 1.0 because these are static resources unstructured and so digitalized that is hardly processable by machine, only readable by human. Then in this work, we propose to pass from this Review 1.0 to Review 3.0 that we also call semantic review. It consists of identifying key insights from scientific papers and organizing these key insights using a knowledge graph. This is an example of food information engineering in which several papers were collected and organized into a knowledge graph. This shows how knowledge are organized. This knowledge is also understandable by a human because we provide in addition definitions to resources, understandable by computer because we use the resource description framework to organize this knowledge, and link to external resources such as Wikidata, DBpedia. In fact, a neuro-symbolic knowledge graph is knowledge graph in which is composed of two main nodes. You have the connectionist node and the symbolic node. These nodes are connected using connectionist to symbolic link, connectionist to connectionist link, or symbolic to connectionist link, or symbolic to symbolic links. For example, in this graph, we connected several nodes to external resources from Wikidata. This is a symbolic node, which is from Open Research Knowledge Graph that I will present later, to Wikidata, which is another knowledge graph. Then in this work, we leverage the connectionist model such as CNN or ChatGPT for automatic extraction of information from scientific papers, and also for recommending information, recommending several information to researchers during the annotation of scientific papers. And this information extracted manually or automatically are stored in the neuro-symbolic knowledge graph, which we call in the open research knowledge graph. Then globally, we can see the work with open research knowledge graph in a sort of gradation of automation in which a woman can add paper manually. Then I'll show it later how to do it. Then human can also be assisted by women by a machine. For example, a machine can be used to automatically extract metadata or provide some assistance to humans during when they are annotating the paper, when they are extracting key information from the paper and are organizing this key information into research contribution. Then the machine can also be assisted by human. For example, when the information is automatically extracted, a human can come and validate several information that are proposed. And it can be fully automated because some information can be extracted and imported automatically in the ORKG. This is an example of an automatic extraction of metadata from scientific papers using either the PDF. You can upload your PDF, you can enter the BibTeX, or you can also enter the DOI of your paper. Then you can also enter your data manually, as we say here, or this information can be fetched automatically using the computer. Once the paper is added into the ORKG, the researchers should provide should extract key insight from this paper and organize this key insight using research contribution. During this process, ChatGPT is used to provide some recommendation, some definition, and also to help the researcher to choose the different properties that can be used to annotate the paper. And of course, you can add that, yeah, this paper corresponds to this sustainable development goal. In our case, it's no poverty and good health Then several research contributions can now be compared. Then to compare research contribution, ORKG can be used to build comparison table. Here you have an example of a comparison table built using ORKG. Then during the process, you can add additional property. Then you can add additional property. You can have access to several papers that are also proposed that are going to be recommended by the system. Then the comparison table can now be used to provide to the community of researchers the same way of comparing scientific paper. You can use template. Then here we have an example of a template here, which is used for describing the food that people eat. And here, during the process of building this template, you can see that connections model such as ChatGPT can be used to make several suggestions. Several suggestions. Then comparison table has in all sense, all review paper can now be used, can now be integrated in the review. Then the advantage of using what we call in ORKG smart review is the fact that you can link the review with several other versions. You can add comparison table as you can see here, etc. Then this, for example, in this review, I published the first version of this review, the 22 of November. The 22nd of November, and after this date, several additional versions were published, as you can see here. Then at the end, you can organize your work using an observatory. Then the case study that we are presenting in this world is the food information engineering case. Then in which, in fact, food information engineering relies on statistical and AI technologies for collecting, processing, storing, and diffusing food information to different stakeholders. Then the Food Information Engineering Observatory aims to organize scientific papers published in the domain so as to provide to researchers a place where they can make the state of the art of their research. Then here you can see that food information engineering correspond to several sustainable development goals. And here there are several links of example of templates that we provide to allow fellow researchers to to create their own contribution you also have several comparison table here and a certain list of review. Then the second part of this video consists of presenting these food information engineering resources, the food information engineering resources, and the third part will consist of showing how to add a paper to in ORKG and how to create contribution and smart review. Then the first step, then to use ORKG to create the link open literature review, you have to enter orkg.org here has the address, and then you reach to this page and you have to sign in. If you don't have yet an account, you should create an account. I have an account. I'm going to enter in my session. Then when I enter in my session, then I can add papers, I can add contribution, etc. In this work, I'm going to come back here and browse the different resources that we created for food information engineering, for example. This resource here, I think that. Then to play with ORKG, you can use the ORKG sandbox. Then you can use the ORKG sandbox to play with ORKG before you start using it. Then this is the food information engineering observatory. Here you have the different research problems, you have the organization who are currently involved, you have the members, and if you want to join, if you are working in the domain, you can just send an email. You can register to ORKG and send an email. Here you have the list of resources that are already added in the system. Then this is an example of a template. This is a template. I don't know, this is not. This is a template that I use to describe the retrieval system in general and the food retrieval system in particular. Then you have the name of the system, the type of data, the data set that are used by the authors, the tasks that are used, the evaluation, how the system is evaluated, and the reference publication, and if you have the link of the system and the year of publication. Then here, this is an example. And in this example, you can also see the instances of these of this template. These are the different systems that are published by different authors related to food retrieval system. Then concerning the food ontology, this is an example of a comparison table of food ontology description. Then this describes the different food ontology that are published in the literature. I don't know if I cover all the food ontology, but I think that I cover almost 75%. Then you can navigate here by pressing the shift button and using the mouse and scrolling the mouse to see the different food ontologies. For example, a health consumer ontology, an example of food ontology for diabetes control, constructing cooking ontology, etc. Then you have the comparison of the different food ontology that are published in the literature. Then, as I said before, you can add contribution. You can add another contribution to this comparison. If you think that you have a new food ontology, you can just come and add a new contribution and publish the comparison. Then you have several actions here. In this action, you can view the graph, you can view the knowledge graph that are built, you can publish this comparison, then you can export in LaTeX, in CSV, in PDF, and reuse it later. Then this is an example of a smart review. Okay, then I'm going to I prefer first to go back. Sorry, I'll take a smart review in our presentation here. Okay, let's take the collecting food information. Then I'll copy it. And then I'll come here and paste it. Then when you open the smart review, you will see how I presented this review. For example, concerning the collection of food information, we have first the food data sources from which the information can be collected. We have here a comparison table of several food data sources. Thereafter, we have the food data acquisition, how data is acquired from food data sources, and we have the food data set with another comparison table. And at the end, you can see here that you can have the history of the different versions that you publish. For example, I can choose to see, let's say, the first version of this review, and we'll see that we started this first version only with food data sources. Thereafter, when we have had more information, we came back and we provided different information. The main advantage of using this smart review option is the fact that you can compare the different version of your work. For example, if I want to compare the fourth version, the last version of this work with the first version, I can just click there and click on the search button. I'm going to reach to this interface, which show what is the difference between the two versions. And this feature is not in many tools that provide the way of linking a different version of comparison tables, such as, for example, Archive. Archive provides you just a way of linking the different version, but it didn't provide the way of seeing the difference between the different version of the paper that are published. That is published. Then now we are going to the last part of this work, which consists of adding several papers in ORKG, and which consists of adding several papers in ORKG, and also, if possible, of creating a comparison table. Then we are going to use, let's say, Semantic Scholar to search, for example, for food composition table that is eaten, for food that are eaten in, I'll choose a country in Azad. Then I'm going to type Semantic Scholar. Okay, we have Semantic Scholar here. No, it's not the right link. Semantic Scholar. Okay, then I reach to Semantic Scholar. Then let's say dishes Cameroon. I want to see the dishes that are eaten in Cameroon or in, sorry, okay, dishes Cameroon. Okay, take recipient and approximate composition of traditional African night dish consumed in the northwest of Cameroon. If you want, for example, to add this paper in the system, then I'm going to open this paper. I'm going to take the DOI, copy the link. Then I'll come here, I click on add the paper. Then I can put the DOI of the paper, and the system is going to automatically fetch the paper metadata. Then I have the metadata there, and then I can click on add the paper to add the paper. Sorry, I forgot something. I should add an area or a research area. To add a paper, you should absolutely add a research area. Then I'm going to say food information engineering. Then if I say okay, I said add the paper now. Okay, the paper already exists in the system. Then I can click on the paper and complete the paper with additional information. Then this is the paper. Then the paper is already in the system, but the paper does not yet have a research contribution. Then I added this paper, but I did not provide research contribution that yet that I can, to provide research contribution, I can edit the paper here. I can edit the paper here, and then I can create a new research contribution. Then when you create a new research contribution, this research contribution is going to be provided with the contribution template. The contribution template is composed of research problem, material, method, result, etc. Then I can choose, for example, the research problem and say that it's food composition. Then I can choose a construction composition table. Let's choose recipe. Then you should choose the research paper that corresponds recipe, recipe, food composition, then update food composition database. Then I can choose this research problem because this paper is about providing composition of traditional dishes in Cameroon for completing the food composition table of Cameroon. Then this is an example. I can add a template. Then, for example, if I want to use the food template, I can type food there and I have the food template. And for now, for the purpose of this, I'm just going to show that this is possible, how to do this. For example, you can provide the local name of the food that you are describing, the form of the food, etc., etc. Then to add a comparison table, you click here, and you click on comparison table. Then you can go to the contribution editor. And from the contribution editor, you can add several contributions. I'll take the example of nutritional. Then I have nutritional composition of 5 varieties of pap commonly consumed in Cameroon. Then we have the different variety of pap. Here you have the Gari, the Gari Carol, etc. Then I can choose these different contribution. Let's choose this contribution. Now I can use this contribution to generate a comparison table. This is a comparison table of the different pap that are eaten in Cameroon. I have the form of the pap, the form type, the food type, the geographical area where the food is eaten, the local name, the research problem. I want to add more comparison, for example, then I can say, okay, I'll type Cameroon. Composition of dishes consumed in Cameroon. For example, I want to compare the different dishes that are consumed in Cameroon. Either they are pap, dishes, etc. Then I have Kondre, for example, I have a bololo, etc. Then I put this food. Then I can say add this contribution, and more contribution are going to be added in my system. And you have two papers presenting the different food that are eaten in Cameroon. You have the common name, you have the form of the food, etc. And down here you have several additional papers that you can just add in your system. You can read more to have more information on the paper abstract before you add the paper in the comparison table. Once the comparison table is added, you have to view the comparison table, how it is presented. And then you can now come here and select the properties that you want to see or to remove. For example, if I don't want to see the common name, I just click and everything will, and it will be gone. And at the end, I can now publish my comparison. To publish the comparison, you have to put the name of the comparison. In our example, we can say a comparison of food eaten in Cameroon. And I can put the description here, this comparison. Then during this process, I can ask more help to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT says that based on the description you provided, we provide, okay, feedback. The description should include more data about the objective and the topic, etc. And you can say here if you are happy or not. Then the research field should be put information engineering, for example. And then you can add the author of the comparison, for example, me. I can add the DOI to the comparison. If I have a DOI, if I have a reference, if I took it from a paper, for example, I can add a paper here. I can assign a comparison to a sustainable development goal, for example, zero hunger and good health, because good health, good eating habit also mean good health, and I can say save, and I can publish. I don't want to publish quick comparison because it was just for the to show how to do it. Then once I created several comparison table, I can now create review. I can review my domain, and to review a domain, I can come here and I will click on review. And in the review, I'll create a new review here. Then I'll click a new review here. Let's create a new review, and I'll say that, let's say review, let's say call it food composition table Cameroon. Because we are planning to write this review, then let's just start it during this demo. And then my review is ready. My review is ready. I can edit it here. I can edit author. If I want to add more author, I can add more author here. For example, myself first. Oops, I made a mistake. Okay, there I am. Then I can add another author if I want. If I have more author, I can add. And then I can edit now my review, and I can add a comparison table. Then Ogakiji will provide you a way of searching a comparison table. For example, let's tap Cameroon here to see if there are some comparison table of food eaten in Cameroon. And I have comparison of pack consumed in Cameroon. I can add here and I say comparison. Then I can also add a text here. I can add a simple text to introduce my review. Then I can add the introduction here. Then I put composition table of Cameroon. Then I have the several pub that I consume in Cameroon. I can add another comparison. Okay, I'll tap also Cameroon to see if in addition we have another. Then comparison of several sources consumed in Cameroon. I have this comparison here. These are several sources that are consumed in Cameroon. If I want to if I want to Yes, if I want to publish my comparison, I can add more references. For example, if I want to add a reference here, I can just add a citation here. I can add a reference here and cite it here. Then I can publish my comparison. Then I can provide a message. Then I can assign a DOI to the paper. Then I don't want to assign DOI word because I want to work more on this comparison, on this review before I publish it, but I can publish. And my comparison is published. I can view the published version. No, I don't want to publish yet the new version. And here you have, for example, this is a comparison table of, this is the food composition table. We want to review the different food that are consumed in Cameroon and to build a sort of food composition table. Then ORKG provide also a way to acknowledge the people who contributed. For example, Kana Sorel, this user contributed in 96% because I suppose that she's the one who added all this information. Let's go and see. Then this is a paper, amino acid major characteristic and vitamin A activity of some traditional sources consumed in the far north of Cameroon. And you can see here that Kana Sorel is the user who worked the most. She provided the food ingredients, etc. These are the different contribution of this paper. Okay, then thank you for all your time. If you have any question, please, you can write to me on Fidel George at facscience.1.cm. And also, we also have a review that will ask you, please, to take 2 or 3 minutes of your time to respond. Thank you.